Muy buenas mis queridos fortuneros y fortunatos, ¿cómo va? Bueno, vamos a seguir con un gameplay más del Discorld de Noir. Pero antes, denle like a este video, comenten, suscríbanse a mi canal, compártanlo, activen la campanita de notificaciones. Si se sienten millonarios, pueden hacerme llegar alguna ayudita mediante los links de Mercado Pago y Cafecito que hay en la descripción del video. Y si quieren contar con contenido exclusivo, pueden hacerse miembros de mi canal. Una vez dadas estas recomendaciones, sigamos con el juego. Bueno, vamos al despacho de Newton.
Somehow, I wasn't surprised to find Al Kali waiting for me in my office. In my head was a list of suspects for killing Mundy, and Al Kali had gone straight in at number 1.
Mr. Luton, I am so pleased to see you.
Fiero
The
Al
feeling's
Kali.
not mutual, Al Kali. What do you want?
All in good time, Mr. Luton.
Why do I get a feeling that Al Kali isn't your real name? It's not very dwarfish.
Enanil.
My name is of little consequence, Mr. Luton, and the story of how I acquired it will have to wait for another time. Now, if you'll excuse me.
Now, why would you want to carry an axe?
To hack at people, Mr. Luton. An axe is the weapon of choice for a dwarf, you should know that.
Why kill me now? What's the point?
I'm not planning to kill you, Mr. Luton. I merely need the axe as a deterrent should you wish to try something foolish.
I don't try foolish things. Sometimes they just happen.
Then I suggest you don't let them happen now.
When you've finished searching me, I know a nice restaurant we can go to.
So, you have been a busy man, Mr. Luton. I think you'd better come with me.
Is there an alternative?
That would depend on how attached you are to your arms and legs, and how much you want them to remain attached to you.
I didn't know where Al Kali was taking me, but I was now sure he wasn't going to kill me. He could have done that in my office, and it would have been days before anyone found the body. No, he wanted me for something. I just didn't know what. I don't know what I was expecting, but I wasn't expecting to be taken to see a troll. I've seen some unusual things in my life, but a troll and a dwarf working together? That was something else. Ankh-Morpork wasn't hot at that time of year, but the big troll was sitting back in a wicker chair being fanned. Smart. Out of the cold of the mountains, overheating of their silicon brains was the reason for the trademark stupidity of the trolls. I'd have to watch my step with this one. Al Kali had a brief whispered conversation with the troll, but I couldn't make out what was said. At one point, I thought I heard Al Kali mention a coin from Sorta, but the rest was a mystery.
Mr. Luton, so glad you could come and join us, and so punctually too. Yes, I know you were escorted by Mr. Al-Kali.
Qué linda voz que tiene el troll.
Time shows that you didn't put up any show of resistance, which means you're intelligent enough to realize that we are not your enemies. And since we are not enemies, there is always the possibility that we might be friends. You are a quiet man?
No, I like to talk, but I like to dance too. And the trick in both is knowing when to lead and when to follow.
Excellent, sir. Excellent. I distrust a quiet man. He generally picks the wrong time to talk and says the wrong things. Talking is something you cannot do judiciously unless you keep in practice. I'll tell you right out. I'm a troll who likes talking to people who like to talk.
What shall we talk about?
What indeed do friends talk about?
Most friendships don't start out with one of the friends being led around by an axe-wielding dwarf. While we're at it, most people know the names of their friends.
Of course, how impolite of me. Mr. Al-Kali, I believe you already know. And my name is Jasper Horst. Perhaps you've heard of me.
I have a bad memory for names. It gets me into a lot of trouble.
You have a bad attitude as well. That also gets you into trouble.
Now, Mr. Alcali, it doesn't do to slander a guest, especially one whom you hope to count among your friends.
Bien, hablemos con Horst.
So, if we're friends, I guess Alcali's warning about staying off the Monday case was just a friendly warning.
Straight to the point. I do admire a man who avoids skirting the issues. Such a man makes an excellent politician, but is almost impossible to trust. Well, sir, it seems you are now in the possession of something that we would like.
And what might that be?
Come now, sir. There's no need to play coy. We know you were the last person Monday saw, and we know you have the coin from Sorter. Frankly, sir, we know you have the golden sword, and we wish to make an offer for it.
What if I told you it wasn't for sale?
Don't be tedious, Mr. Luton. We obviously know that you are in the employ of Carlotta. Hence we know that you have a price. Whatever she is offering you, we can safely offer double. And unlike Carlotta, I am a troll on my word.
What if she's offering me something that you can't match?
You don't strike me as a man who would fall for Carlotta.
¿Cuánta charla? Nunca he visto un juego con tanta charla.
Are you loyal to Carlotta?
I am loyal to one person and one person alone. Me.
That's wonderful. I do like a man who isn't afraid to tell you that he is looking after himself.
We're all looking after ourselves.
Indeed, sir. Indeed. And I don't trust a man who says he's not.
Bueno.
Trust seems very important to you, Horst.
Indeed. Without trust, we are no better than barbarians. It is the capacity for trust that sets the humans, trolls, dwarfs, and such above the lesser animals.
That and our capacity for cruelty.
What a dark outlook you have, sir. Are you a pessimist?
Pessimism is a term used by optimists to attempt to discredit those who see the world as it really is.
You are a man of the world, sir. I like that about you.
Tell me about the golden sword, Horst.
Carlotta didn't tell you what it was?
Horst seemed to think I knew things that I didn't, and that could give me the advantage. I decided it was time for a good bluff. She told me, but I took it for granted she was lying.
A not injudicious thing to do.
Bien.
Let's cut to the chase. How much will you pay me for the sword?
Suffice it to say, I will pay you its value.
That doesn't give me much to go on.
You will appreciate, sir, that a golden sword like that is a difficult artifact to sell. Indeed, you would draw a lot of attention were you to attempt to do so. I will offer you what the sword is worth, and that, I can assure you, is more than Carlotta is offering you.
I could use a figure.
I don't like to commit myself to fixed fees. Those who set exact price tags leave themselves no room to negotiate.
Interesante.
Circumstances change. Rest assured that it will exceed $10,000 at the least.
10,000, eh? I'll think about it. Well, it's been nice talking to you, Horst, but I have other things to do.
I trust you will keep in touch, sir. I look forward to hearing your decision.
You're letting him go?
Come now, Mr. Alcali. Mr. Luton is our friend and associate. He is free to come and go as he pleases.
I'll let you know what I decide, Horst.
But of course, goodbye, Mr. Luton. For now.
I was starting to piece together what was going on. Whatever this sword was, it was clear that Mundy brought it into town with him on the Milka. I guess he was the courier. For who wasn't clear. He must have hidden it in one of the crates on the Milka and then broken into the warehouse to recover it. Only the watchman stopped him before he could retrieve it. None of which told me where the sword was, or even what the sword was. One thing was clear. I needed to talk to Carlotta.
Bueno. Bueno, entonces vamos a la mansión 1. Ah, no, para. Carlotta la última vez que la vi estaba en Saturnalia, así que vamos a Saturnalia.
Still here?
Here's as good as anywhere.
A ver, libreta. Ajá.
I want to talk to you about something important.
Really? I can't wait.
Not here. It's too public.
Your place or mine?
Yours is probably safer.
Let's go.
We barely spoke at all on the way over, and there was a certain tension between us. God's help me, I liked it.
Well, we're alone. What did you want to talk to me about?
You've got a lot of smooth moves, Carlotta. You've managed to string me along like a kitten.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about you lying to me, sister. I'm talking about the way you used me to track down Mundy, and how you are planning to cut me out of the action when I found him.
You're paranoid, Luton.
Oh, I know I'm paranoid. But just because I'm paranoid doesn't mean you're not a lying, thieving lowlife. Tell me about the golden sword.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, I think you do. And so does Jasper Horst.
You spoke to Horst?
Yes, I spoke to Horst. And he seemed to think that I had possession of the sword. Apparently Mundy had it, only he died before he could deliver it. Horst thinks I killed him and took the sword.
I didn't want you to get involved, Luton. It was too dangerous.
Ah, don't pull the hysterical woman act on me, Carlotta. It won't work.
All right, you got me. I used you. Everybody uses everyone, Luton. It's the way of things. Friendships are just what happens when you use someone for so
Me
long.
encanta esa
it's
frase.
habitual.
You're a bitter little lady.
It's a bitter little world. What now?
You tell me everything.
Why?
Because you need me.
I don't need anyone.
You'd like to think so, wouldn't you? But even you aren't totally independent, Carlotta. You need the Count's money for one. One word from me and I could get you cut off.
He wouldn't dare. He's too bound by tradition.
Perhaps. But can you really afford to take that chance?
What's the deal, Luton?
Straight cut. I'll help you recover the sword. We split the profit.
You think you can trust me enough for that to work?
No. But this isn't about trust. It's about money. You don't trust me any more than you trust Horst. But I figure you'd work with him if it got you the money.
You're smart, Luton. But you've got one thing wrong.
What's that?
I trust you more than I trust Horst.
Oh, I'm touched. But I reckon you'd trust a rattlesnake before you'd trust Horst.
You're a good judge of character.
Hang around with scum long enough and you learn to tell the different types of scum apart. Horst is the treacherous kind.
What about me?
You're just a woman, Carlotta, and that's not a compliment.
Why do you hate women so much?
I hate everyone and everything. No one gets special treatment. Now tell me the real story between you and Mundy.
Mundy wasn't my lover. He was my contact. He was supposed to be bringing the artifact in from Sota, but something went wrong on the way. I don't know what it was, but Mundy never made his rendezvous. I went with Reagan to the wharf to meet him, but he wasn't there.
Who's Reagan?
Tut tut. We have been lax in our investigating.
Just tell me who he is, Carlotta.
Henning's friend, if that's a meaningful word when it comes to the old relic. You should talk to him about Reagan, not me.
Do you know where Reagan is now?
No, he dropped me at the Temple of Small Gods, and that's the last I saw of him.
Did he know what was going on?
Reagan? Ha! No, I never told him anything. Everything I told him would have gone straight to the Count.
Anything else you haven't told me?
I'm sure there's plenty of things I haven't told you. The girl's got to have some secrets.
You're trouble, Carlotta.
Admit it, Luton. You like trouble.
What if I do?
I know what's going on inside of you, Luton. You're just like any other man, only a little more so.
When she kissed me, fire burned in my veins and I felt alive. Have you ever kissed someone who you didn't know whether to love or to hate? Well, other than your parents. Not that I'm prying into your private life. Just trying to get my point across. Something changed in me at that point, and I knew I'd never be the same again.
I guess we have a deal then.
With my brains and your looks, we could go places.
What about with my brains and your looks?
We could still go places. They just wouldn't be as nice. You must have known something about the Milka's cargo.
Yes, I had a crate amongst the cargo. It wasn't carrying anything important. It was just for Mundi to hide the sword in if it became necessary.
But the sword wasn't in the crate.
No. The last I saw of the crate, Reagan had it. I don't know where it is now.
Do you have anything that might help me find it?
I have a shipping order. You can have it if it's useful to you.
It could be. Any lead is a good one at the moment.
Muy bien. Así que ahora nos vamos.
I'll see you around, Carlotta.
I hope so.
I see Sir has returned.
Sir,
Recién se dio cuenta.
Who would Sir like to see?
is the Count receiving guests?
No, but he will see you.
Your interest in the Mundy case wouldn't have something to do with your missing companion, would it?
Why, Mr. Houghton, I'm impressed. You actually do have some detective skills.
What's the deal?
He was my friend.
Si no hablo mucho, que estoy entretenido leyendo la historia.
He was a dwarf of simple tastes, and when I was younger, he drove my carriage for me. These days, given that I am confined to the conservatory, I have no need for a driver, but I kept Reagan on the payroll so that I should have someone to talk to.
When did he go missing?
3 days ago. He took the carriage out that night and has not been seen since.
And you thought Carlotta might have employed me to look for him?
I was hoping, yes.
You could always employ me to find him.
Wouldn't that be a conflict of interests?
I don't see why. Anyway, there isn't a conflict of interest that I know about that couldn't be solved with a generous cash settlement.
Be assured that if you can find Reagan, I can offer you substantial recompense.
Then I'll see what I can do. The Count gave me an iconograph of Reagan to help my investigations. My mind was already racing. 3 days ago, the Milka arrives. 3 days ago, Reagan disappears. Now, I believe in coincidences. Coincidences happen every day. But I don't trust coincidences. Something deeper was going on here, and I was going to find out what. Because I can't stand a secret, and because I have a burning need to find the truth. But mostly, because there was a wad of money in it for me if I found out.
Muy bien.
I'll be back later.
I look forward to it.
A ver, ¿dónde iremos ahora? Ajá, a ver.
Still here?
Not for much longer, I hope.
Ajá.
I showed Reagan's picture to the first mate, and he recognized it.
Yes, I think that was the dwarf who pulled up in a carriage shortly after we docked. I think he collected some of the cargo, too.
Do you remember which way he went?
He drove away upwards at high speed. I wouldn't be surprised if he caused an accident somewhere down the line.
Bien. Vámonos de acá. El muelle. Ajá.
If I pride myself on anything, it's that I don't steal without a good reason. Well, I don't steal rope without a good reason. When the Milka left, someone must have left one of the mooring lines behind. That was careless. Some people will steal anything.
Bueno, entonces ahora...
Some people will steal anything. And that includes me, it seems.
Muy bien. Ahora vamos, ahora sí, al atracadero 5.
I have a few more questions.
You're persistent, I'll give you that.
Vamos al inventario.
I've come to collect some cargo.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm gonna swallow that, aren't I? I mean, you come up asking questions about cargo, and I won't tell you about the cargo. Then, miraculously, you're here to collect some cargo. You must think I was born yesterday.
Well, I can always take this shipping order to your boss and say that you wouldn't let me collect my cargo.
Okay. Well, let's not be too hasty, eh? I mean, I have to be skeptical, right? I'm a watchman. Where would we be if people like me weren't just a little bit cynical? All right. You win.
I eventually persuaded the watchman to show me the ledger for the recent deliveries. The milker had been carrying some wine barrels that were shipped to the Café Ant and some crates under the name Varberg. According to the watchman, they were collected by the Guild of Archaeologists, Antiquarians, and Tomb Evacuators.
Yeah.
I guess somewhere was the von Uberwald crate that went with the shipping order, but the watchman didn't know about it, and there was no sign of it in the warehouse.
Bueno. Entonces ahora tendremos que ir al gremio de arqueólogos, ¿no?
Ankh-Morpork was home to around 300 guilds, most of which festered in the space between unseen
300
and the
gremios.
patrician's palace like fungus. From the Assassin's Guild to the Beggar's Guild, everyone a proud group of individuals basking in their mutual arrogance. I hated them for their smugness, I hated their petty bickering, but most of all, I hated that I wasn't part of one.
Bien, así que
Hello? Open up.
All right. Hold on. What do you want?
Can I come in?
Are you a member?
No.
Then no. This is members
pero siempre se
only.
la pasa lloviendo acá.
You only allow members into the guild?
That's what I said. I wasn't kidding.
What happens if something goes wrong with your plumbing?
What do you mean?
I mean, do you let the plumbers in to fix the problem?
Yes, we do.
Are they members of the guild?
No. We sign them in.
If you signed me in, I could come in, right?
That's right.
Then what do I have to do to get you to sign me in?
There's nothing you can do that will make me sign you in. I just don't like you.
You don't like me? What kind of excuse is that?
It's the truth.
How
It's
else
the
can I get
truth.
in?
Find another guild member to sign you in, or become a guild member.
Great. So I have to wait around here for a guild member willing to sign me in to turn up.
Don't hold your breath.
Bien.
How do I become a member then?
You need to find a member of the guild to endorse you.
Never mind. I can spot a lost cause when I see one.
Buah. Nos vamos de acá. Y ahora tenía que ir a Pseudopolisharda.
There was something about the way the other members of the watch looked at me that let me know that no matter how innocent I was still stained with suspicion. Still, I'll take the stains of suspicion over the tarnish of guilt. Suspicion was easier to wash out. Sometimes I think I'd just give up and crawl inside a whiskey bottle. Except that you can only do that if you are less than 1 inch high.
Bien, bien. Hola, Novi.
Doesn't look like I'm too welcome around here. Of course, I haven't been welcome here since I got kicked off the force, but at least then they just thought I was corrupt. Now they think I'm a murderer.
Nah, Luton, you've got it all wrong. They don't think you're a murderer. They think...
that my personal hygiene is appalling?
No.
That I have the Clutchian plague?
No.
Face it, they think I'm a murderer.
You know, give me a minute, I'll think of something.
Nobby, you've never thought of something printable in your entire life. Why should you start now?
Bien, ahora lo que le tenía que preguntar era por...
Did anyone report a speeding carriage 3 days ago?
Funny you should ask that. Sergeant Colon was almost run down by a carriage 3 days ago. He's been going on about it ever since. Says we ought to have speed limits for carriages.
How would you tell what speed a carriage was going?
Well, a watchman's instincts are never wrong.
You could always go for a more preventative approach.
Like what?
Well, you could ban carriages altogether.
Yeah, that'd work.
Hey, you could go one step further. You could ban people from Ankh-Morpork, and then there'd be no crime at all.
Well, there'd still be the trolls and the dwarfs, and the gargoyles, and the gnomes, and the undead and the golems. Of course, the golems don't make much crime, and the gargoyles' only crime is Adicide. And it's not like we're short of pigeons. But the trolls and the dwarfs, well, I mean, they make as much crime as any of the humans, maybe even more.
It's no fun when it's this easy. Like shooting fish at a barrel.
Eh?
Never mind. About this carriage the other night. Where did Colon see it?
I think he said it was headed for the Magdalen Bridge.
It wasn't much of a lead, but at least it was something. Usually you could only get a lead out of Nobby with a scalpel.
Bueno, entonces nos vamos de acá. Bueno, gente, se ha hecho un poquito largo el gameplay de acá y lo que más hemos hecho es escuchar cómo habla la gente más que nosotros movernos, pero bueno, dentro de todo ha estado entretenido. Bueno, fortuneras y fortunatos, los abandono. Nos estamos viendo el próximo video. Adiósito.